io comincio in italiano come sempre. Allora siamo qui con Alex Tournier, che è il responsabile, il presidente, potremmo dire, no, della ECRI, cioè l'Omeopathic Research Institute, e è venuto qui a fare una bellissima, brevissima ma stupenda conferenza sui 100 anni di ricerca sulla medicina omeopatica nel mondo. Sui primi 100 anni potremmo dire, o sui secondi 100 anni, non sappiamo ancora. Anyway, we will start speaking English. And the question is, it was very nice, your graphics about the amount of research that is going up and up in these last years. Uh, uh, what do you think about the universities and the public that finance homeopathic research?
About the idea that so we have one of the big problems we have in research right now is that the attacks on homeopathy have been very effective in cutting us out of the big normal funders of clinical trials, the Wellcome Trust, the Marie Curie foundations, things like that. We don't have access to anymore, and so we're funded by private foundations or big foundations that have an interest in homeopathy or anthroposophy, but that's much smaller, say, than if we were doing cancer, for example. There's a huge amount of money for cancer. So we're unfortunately limited in the funding to a relatively few foundations that carry on funding research, clinical research into homeopathy.
Okay, but I have seen, for example, there are places like Brazil or India that are still doing research.
Oh, yes.
Are they able to find fundings for research, or is the system is closed already?
Okay, so sorry, yes. So India and Brazil are both coming up in terms of research, but they're very different countries. So first, maybe India. India, you have governmental support with the CCRH and the Ayush ministry, and so you have big institutional support and a lot of investment in homeopathy. So we see that in the number of publications coming out of India, both clinical and basic research. We are seeing a very strong rise in the number of publications coming out of India, and so we hope that is going to be a really good thing. Like the quality isn't quite there yet because they're still like young researchers, kind of. So we can see that, but in the long term, they should really take over. There's a lot of research from India. Brazil is not exactly in the same situation. There's a handful of professors able to do research in Rio, in Sao Paulo, also in Macapá now, and but they're not as many as in India. India is really, really big. So Brazil, they're managing, but they're also they have funding, but they're having also similar problems in terms of accessing the big funding. Yeah.
So the big problem actually seems to be the Occident. I mean, in the sense that there is Europe is really closed now for research. Universities are very much closed for
the situation
for research.
Situation in Europe is concerning. Where I am in Bern, we are now the last institute of integrative and complementary medicine in Europe, and what's going to happen in the next few years, we don't know. The lobbies, the critiques of homeopathy have been very good at kind of gradually closing down different institutions, and because in Switzerland homeopathy is still protected because they had the referendum 2008, if I remember. And so there's a level of protection. But we know they're trying to cut us out. But for now, Switzerland is still holding strong, and we have the institute in Bern where we can do this type of research. But it's pretty much across Europe. There's not many that can do that.
Yeah. Go back to your conference. You have said that now we have to ask new questions because you consider, me too, that we have enough data to show that homeopathy works. Now the next question is how works.
Yeah.
What think HRI can do or will do for this?
Oh, in terms of the HRI, so HRI, we're very dedicated to helping the research and communication, and also through the research. So we fund a few research projects. We don't actually have, the amount of funding that we would be able to say, oh, we're going to change anything.
Yeah.
But we are funding a bit of research, say, through Stephen Cartwright in the subatomic dyes, so that area. So myself as well. I'm looking at, so with Stefan Baumgartner in Bern, we just finished the first part of a review of the theories of homeopathy. So we're going through all the theories that have been proposed to explain homeopathy. And in a second paper, we want to compare and contrast all these theories that have been proposed over the years, and try and find out what's the way forward. At this point in time, there is so my favorite theory is quantum coherence theory, which is about
The healing process, you say?
quantum coherence.
Okay.
Sorry.
Quantum. Okay.
Coherence theory, which is a theory about water and how water is structured and how it could carry information through the succussions and then be a therapeutic agent for healing given to a patient. So I'm working on a paper on that, and that's kind of my favorite theory at the moment. Also, I think homeopathy maybe is one of these areas that's really asking us to think differently, because we've been at it for so long that if the solution was simple, we would have found it. And then we're always trying to look at homeopathy as if it was some kind of pharmaceutical drug, and then so we give the remedy and we expect it to act like if it's a pharmaceutical drug. And maybe that's a mistake, and we need to enlarge our perspective and think about it, that what if homeopathy is really part of a different class of phenomena that is researchable but just different. And it's not I'm not saying it's like kind of all a placebo or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a real phenomena. It's just a bit different. And so that's just another way of looking at the problem. And let's see where that goes. Don't know yet.
Yes, it's nice. However, no, this means that this is a challenge and we have to take it. I think. This is our idea. Alex, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. I don't know
Merci.
which is your best language. Ringraziamo Alex Tournier e speriamo di poterlo avere nei prossimi mesi e nei prossimi anni, poterlo avere, come dire, sempre combattivo insieme a noi. Merci beaucoup.
Grazie mille.
Ciao. Ciao.